German government injects 10 million euros into rice production in Ghana. Government allocates 120 million Ghana cedis for 6 new regions. Public Procurement Act not efficient, Dr. Yamsing, and 79 projects and a 1D1F ready to be implemented, Dr. Bawumia. The Ghanaian Times, NDC filing fee pegged at 400,000, and easy to hold referendum for creation of 6 new regions on December 27. And Tamale said to Mark Farmer's Day, 4 million Ghana cedis boost for women in business as government moves to support fiscally challenged women and entrepreneurs. And finally, the BNFT government must deepen support for local entrepreneurs, and laws must bite when breached. Is Sankuma and 697 million US dollars of goods services procured by oil firms locally, and that's it. Those are the front page stories. My guest this morning, lawyer Abraham Amaliba. He is a member of the NDC's legal and communications team. Counsel, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Sweet jacket.
Thanks.
I want to go and buy one when I grow up and become like you. Good morning. And Eric Chum is also a government spokesperson. Eric, welcome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Great. Friday is here. RTI Red Friday. Is government feeling the pressure that 70 CSOs are mounting for the passage of this bill?
Well, good morning once again. Good morning to my good friend here. I haven't seen him for a while. He's looking very sharp.
Yeah.
This is the kind of things that Akufo-Addo administration.
No, he's a hard-working lawyer, so
he's looking very, very sharp. I like that. Well, but to be honest with you, and also good morning.
So it's the impact of the Akufo-Addo government.
Exactly. I mean, in the midst of plenty,
okay,
you get some.
I see.
You know, like, but the thing is that I feel that it's also important that we say good morning to the viewers.
All right.
This RTI bill, I have maintained a certain consistency. I'm sure I have actually incurred the displeasure of some of my friends in Parliament. But the truth of the matter is that for 21 years, trying to pass any bill through Parliament, and it hasn't been successful, it can be justified to say that maybe the successive parliaments have actually shown a certain sense of inertia. There might be justifiable reasons why it hasn't happened. I mean, a number of excuses or reasons have been given as to why it hasn't happened. And I feel that it's something that needs to happen in earnest. I believe strongly that it will become an asset to the democracy that we want to pursue. In that, for some strange reason, we've also created this perception that the RTI is merely supposed to be for politicians. And I think that if we move away from that point and realize that what it does is that everybody that finds themselves in a position of authority or influence would have to abide by the tenets of the bill. And that's it where we'd have both reactive and proactive solution to some of the problems that we face in this country. So even in terms of the process, the decision-making process of how you come by anything that you do would be minded by these the fact that there's an RTI bill and whatever it is that you do would have to come to the public domain. So I find absolutely no reason why we can't do that. I think that in the last couple of days, there's been comments coming from Parliament that suggest that they are considering it. So in this case, what we have to do is to give them the benefit of the doubt. We
gave them that for close to 20 years.
Again, I appreciate, but for the CSOs, I actually stand with them.
And 70 of them?
Yes, I mean, and that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if, for instance, even as we speak, if Parliament is still having certain challenges in terms of support, I think that they have the they have the right to actually call on those same CSOs and even benchmark or look at what is happening or has happened elsewhere, and then try to juxtapose that against that so that we'll be able to have a bill that's fit for purpose. even if you listen to the commentary coming from some of the people who are reluctant that it actually goes through, I don't think it's neither here nor there. I mean, some people have made claims that it has national security implications and it will make governance difficult and all of those things. But I don't think so. I think that the bill itself, in the present state, if you speak to some of the people who have followed it from the beginning, will tell you that it's actually been watered down to a point. So let's have it. Let's, as far as I'm concerned, let's pass the bill. We've had amendments in this country for time immemorial. Let's pass the bill. If there are certain issues,
but you're in government now, so the pressure will be on you to pass the bill.
No, but that is fine. I think that's a very fair thing to say. You see, the funny thing is that when it comes to some of these things, then the same members of parliament will now find a categorization of minority and majority. But it's parliament, and parliament is seen as one unit. So the responsibility behoves on parliament as a unit to be able to pass this. And I believe strongly, even coming from the majority leader and comments that I've heard from the minority, that there's a commitment to pass it.
Action speaks louder than words for us. Well, the RTI coalition is out there. I told you it's the RTI Red Friday. So we're gathering at the Tema station in Accra, Tudu in Accra as well, Accra Mall, the Emmanuel Eye Clinic traffic light, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Ridge Roundabout, and we'll do that from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., distributing flyers and interacting with the public. When we're done with that, we'll head straight to Parliament, and the leadership of 70 civil society organizations will get onto the gallery wearing the red RTI shirts, and we will be mounting pressure. On the phone line, I'll be joined by Elvis Darko. He is a member of the steering committee of the RTI coalition. He is also at Tudu as we speak, leading the charge. He's the editor of the Finder newspaper. Elvis, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
Elvis, what can you report for us? How is it going, Red Friday?
Oh, I can report that this morning the Red Friday is already taking off. And from all our locations, we are getting what is going on from pictures, how the flyers have been distributed. We can even see commercial vehicles, drivers taking stickers and pasting it on their vehicles. So generally, the public is very enthused about what is going on. They believe that it's a good law. In Tudu, we started at a bus stop in front of Atateka University. That's where we converged. And this morning, a lot of the students are rushing to lectures, but when they see us in the shed, they give us a thumbs up and say, look, this is a good thing. We all need it, so we should all push hard for it. So it's clearly an issue of endorsement by the general public that this action is important and the passage of the bill is critical to Ghana.
Elvis, have we mounted enough pressure over the period in our quest to get this bill passed? Is that your opinion?
I believe that the civil society have done a yeoman's job, but the missing link which led to the formation of the media coalition is that we realized that it's like we were sitting back as the media practitioners and urging on the civil society groups to go and do the work, and we only write. But that's the reason we think that this time around, we ourselves should also be part and parcel of the action. Not only our professional bodies, but individual media practitioners should also join the fight for this law to be passed. And we think that has been the missing link. And ever since the media coalition came into being and media practitioners have devoted themselves to the action, we realize that there is a high interest by media practitioners. Media houses have taken up the issue, and on daily basis we are having a lot of information out there about the bill to the public, and we just realized that a lot of people thought that the bill is something that is being done for politicians, media people to go and attack politicians. And for that reason, public interest in the bill was not that high. But now that they are getting more education from mass media on daily basis, that the bill is not for media people to go and attack any politician. The bill applies to every citizen of Ghana. And so long as the person is in public office, whatever information that is being generated is being generated by the taxpayers' money. And therefore, the Ghanaian has every right to know what that information is. And that is what everybody should understand. And we just realize that people are now getting to know that, look, the law...
Hello, Elvis. Well, we lost Elvis. I'm sure we'll try and reach him because I had 2 more questions to ask him. But let me come to you, Counsel. This is how far we have come in our quest to get the RTI law passed. Do you think we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel now?
So let me start by saying good morning to your viewers. And to say that the comments coming from my colleague will be treated with the contempt it deserves.
Oh, how? Which of the comments?
The comment about my jacket, and which means that the economy is doing well, will be treated with the contempt that it deserves. I won't give oxygen to it.
You don't want to give the president credit?
Nothing is working in this country. The fact that I wear a jacket doesn't mean that the economy is doing well.
Okay.
I am a hard-working lawyer. I sleep in the courts every day. And so that is where my bread is buttered. Now, on the issue of the RTI bill, if a child were born on the day that this bill was introduced in Parliament, that child will be close to 20 years now.
Right.
And so that's a picture I want to create in the minds of Ghanaians listening. That child will be 20 years now. The question to ask is there any bill that has stayed in Parliament for this long before? I don't think so. Now, what does this tell our parliamentarians? In fact, most of those in Parliament today were in their early 20s when the bill was introduced. Some were in schools when the bill was introduced. What does it tell the parliamentarians who are in government, who are in Parliament today?
What do you see?
I see a Parliament that has reneged its responsibility and abdicated its responsibility. You are there to pass laws. And if you are being asked to do what you are ordinarily doing, why would it take you 20 years? And will parliamentarians have what it takes to sanction any government official or any police official who has decided to also renege on his responsibility or abdicate? Because you tell me as a policeman that you've not done investigations and that the reason why there's crime in this country is because you are not performing. I tell you that you are also performing because there's a bill before you for 20 years. If colleagues of our parliamentarians in other countries hear that in Ghana there has been a bill that has been before them for 20 years, what do they think will be the impression of their colleagues in those countries?
Would they care? Do they care?
Who? Our parliamentarians?
Yes.
I am telling them to care because it gives them a bad name. It gives them a bad reputation. Look, what saddened me was when I heard Katie Amor make the point that it will make journalists more powerful. But I know in that bill, there are exceptions. There are areas where, because of national security considerations, health matters, matters relating to secrecy of the state, that information will not be shared. I know that.
Right.
So for Katie Amor, very respected member, high level, senior member of parliament, somebody who has his training in a country where RTI is a big thing, to then spew out that, for me, saddened my heart.
Is this fear not genuine, one would ask?
I am saying that because of his training, where he got his training, I thought that that would have shaped his thinking. And I've just told you that his fears are unwarranted because that same bill has protected some kind of information that you as a journalist cannot access.
So why not pass it then?
So why not pass it then? So ask them. The question now is the bill actually for journalists alone? No. In fact, when K.T. Hammond was in opposition, elements of his party went to court, and the High Court granted them the right to access some information, true or false, in this country. His party benefited from it. And the MPP is today in government. The elements of their party in opposition were vociferous about this bill. If you now want to apportion blame, blame the MPP.
Is that not what we've been doing for 20 years?
No.
You have had an equal share.
I'm not going to shy away from that.
Amalaba, you have had your equal
This
share for 20
point, I won't
years.
shy away from it.
Right.
No, but I mean,
No,
you
no,
have
no,
to
no.
understand it by some kind of
I strive in controversy. I am Alba. Where angels fear to go, I will go there.
But 20 years,
No,
you have
I'm
had
saying
your
that.
share,
I am saying that.
in Parliament
I
and
am
in
saying
government.
that
You should share the blame.
today, if the MPP had not refused to support the attempt to pass the bill in 2016, you remember that bill was going to be passed?
Right.
They used their numbers, and because we didn't get the appropriate numbers, that bill was not
So
passed.
between 1992 and year 2000,
I am saying that
you had a majority.
I am saying that
Now, from 2001 to 2008, the MPP was in the majority. From 2009 to 2016, you were in the majority. So, clearly, between 1992 and 2000 and 2009 to 2016, you have had 2:1. You should take a bigger shot then, don't you, by our analogy?
forget about 1990. I'm saying that
Why
this
should I
morning,
forget about it?
I'm saying that this morning that we are talking,
Okay.
we would have had an RTI law, but for what they did. That's my point.
What did they do?
Didn't you, were you not in this country when they refused to support the passage of that bill in Parliament in 2016? You were not in this country. Look, better late than never. That would have been our story to tell the people of this country. That, yes, it has taken this while, but today we have it. But if you had a responsible opposition at that time to support the NDC in passing that bill, today it would have been an act and you won't be in red. That's the point I want to make. And it was made forcefully. I started by condemning what Parliament has done, but I zero in realizing and knowing that there was an attempt by the NDC government to pass it. They stalled it.
Is the
They
RTI
must
not
do.
beyond NDC and MPP equalization?
It is not beyond that because what is in Parliament is a partisan Parliament, a Parliament made up of NDC, MPP. And if one side failed and reneged to support the other side to pass it, today I won't shy away from pointing at that.
Okay, thank you very
I will
much. I'm
try.
grateful. Eric,
Johnny, just a quick one. I think that is ridiculous to suggest that the RTI hasn't been passed because of this present NPP administration.
I've questioned
It's,
that.
yeah, it is ridiculous. And again,
But is it not a fact that
It
that
is-
did
I
happen?
mean,
Amalaba, allow
to-
him to.
Is it not a fact that that did happen?
Amalaba, he kept quiet
Let
for
me
you.
finish.
No.
He kept quiet
to
for
get
you,
to the
Amalaba.
point,
I don't know
of
why you
trying
wouldn't like
to-
the truth.
Amalaba, he
to-
kept quiet for you.
Trying to mention names and personalize it is unfair because I've heard some members from the minority, Sam George, for instance, come out to say that even the RTI in itself is not fit for purpose and that we should concentrate on other things. These are views that are shared by individuals. That does not necessarily mean you are sitting here claiming that you thrive in controversy. Should I make a generalization that the NDC thrives in controversy? No, you are an individual.
Okay.
You understand? So people within a political establishment are allowed to air their personal views on issues. That cannot be now road-railed into the fact that that is a general perception or that is the mindset of a whole political party. You can't do so.
Right.
Otherwise, I can go and mention a plethora of examples. In any case, you've had an opportunity to have passed this thing on 2 or 3 occasions.
Now you have the opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And I conceded that, as far as I'm concerned, there has been a certain show of inertia over the period. I haven't been able to be convinced by the argument. And he stated categorically that, listen, there's absolutely no bill that has gone to Parliament that has taken 21 years. And that will suggest, I mean, if the justification is there, maybe they can bring it up. But I can't find any justification.
All right.
But to now move away from there and try to politicize it
politicization
and go
is not the way to go.
No. As far as I'm concerned.
020-21-66633. That's our WhatsApp line. 020-21-66633. Let's turn our attention to Amaliba, your party now.
My point is
you are charging 420,000 Ghana cedis per person who wants to lift the flag of your party into the 2020 election. The public uproar says that's ridiculous and it should never happen. What do you say, especially for a socially democratic party?
When it came to an individual's action, I mentioned the name.
Right.
I didn't say that was an MPP. But when it came to an MPP action, I said that was MPP. So get the point right.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, this issue brings back the thorny issue of state funding of political parties. We have always talked about state funding of political parties.
Okay.
Paying lip service, but nothing is being done. I would have been of the same view. I'm talking about those who are saying it is on the high side.
Right.
I would have been of the same view. But for the fact that I had opportunity to serve as a member of the electoral committee of the just ended National Congress that elected our national executives.
Right.
I would have been of the same view.
I saw you.
And in our meetings, in attempting to organize that trade fair conference, I can tell you, there were instances where you didn't even know where money was coming from. You didn't even know where money was coming from.
The NDC is broke?
The NDC has never been rich.
Okay.
That's what people are talking. That's why I don't understand what people are saying. The NDC has never been rich. The NDC is not an income generating entity. The NDC doesn't sell cocoa. It doesn't sell charcoal. It doesn't sell gari. For you to say that, then there's money coming into the NDC.
But the NDC takes dues from its members,
exactly.
And donations and contributions.
So if those dues are not forthcoming, don't forget that they are voluntary.
But it also legitimizes your membership, doesn't it?
Sure, but if I'm not playing any active role, why will I pay dues? Because it is only when maybe I am out there to benefit from an activity that they'll be questioning, have you paid dues? But if I'm just a supporter, it's not mandatory. Now, when we say the economy is suffocating, it is not only suffocating for individuals, it is suffocating for also groups such as churches. And I've heard pastors say that the tithe, the collection that they take on Sundays have dwindled, which means that it will affect the church when they want to engage in activities which calls for financial support. And so what is happening is a response to the increase in some prices of goods in this country. I can tell you that the 9,000 delegates we had at Trade Fair, we are now going to have 200 and something thousand delegates voting. And this is going to be decentralized all over the country. You are going to print ballot box papers. You are going to rent places for these elections to take place. You are going to transport. You are going to transport these ballot papers to the 275 constituencies.
Do you honestly believe that all the 11 aspirants who have put themselves up for election will be able to afford this. And I'll give you an example. In the Daily Graphic, page 3, reacting to this, Mr. Kospio Gabra was of the view that going by the Disability Act, many of us are disabled but are not aware. Everybody is disabled in one form or the other. He added, speaking for myself, I am visually impaired and I totally fall into that category.
Look,
so he should be paid 200,000.
I don't expect any of these 11 candidates to use their personal money, their hard-earned money, to do campaigning or engage in politics.
Is that not recipe for disaster?
No,
setting the table for corruption?
No. You don't need to be rich,
okay,
to engage in politics. What you need to be is to be resourceful.
He who pays the piper.
I'm saying that it's just to be resourceful.
If I resource you, you owe me a favor when you get into power.
If people believe in your ideals and believe in what you stand for, they will voluntarily contribute. In the US, take Obama and Clinton. Clinton was much, much richer than Obama. But Obama used his resourcefulness and got people to contribute $1, $1, and he became president.
We didn't see nepotism and cronyism in there. We've been complaining
I am
about
saying
that and corruption.
I am saying that with your resourcefulness, you can raise the amount.
And I'm putting it to you that in the past, when people have supported people, and we know, even though it doesn't get into the public domain, people have supported people to pick up their filing forms, funded their campaigns, whatever it is, they have come back to demand their pound of flesh. In fact, recently, Elvis Friyankra was out there saying that, well, people have helped people, and so when some of these contracts had and they had to be signed, your hands are literally tied as a minister, as a government appointee. That's what I'm pointing out.
And that is why there are laws that criminalizes such acts, and such people, if you have evidence, must be prosecuted. Just yesterday, I read that the mayor of in Brazil, Brasilia,
right,
the mayor of Brasilia, the capital, has been hauled to court for acts of corruption. And I'm saying that there are laws in this country. These matters are to be dealt with the laws, and the laws of this country can deal with that. But you need to be resourceful.
Is this rate supposed to be pushing some people out of the contest and creating a platform for the selected few or the chosen few?
And let me tell you this in answer to this question, that when you become the flag bearer, you are the #1 fundraiser. The party is not going to give you money. No, all the political parties, you will be the one to lead the charge to raise funds. And so if even in your primaries or your presidential primaries, yes, you are unable to raise funds to meet filing fees, what then speaks of you when you become
so this motive is to raise money for the party to be able to do its activities?
Yes.
So what if out of the 11, we have only 3 people being able to fund it? It means you have actually lost on that plan, haven't you?
And you know that will also reduce the cost element, because now you have a balance sheet that contains 11 printing cost.
How much is the printing cost compared to organizing and decentralizing it everywhere?
I am telling you that will also reduce the cost. Now, the party would also have to be resourceful, to augment what they are levying the candidates for. And so, resourcefulness is what is required to be able to raise these monies to run the election.
Do you see anything wrong with the figure?
Do you
see anything wrong with the 420,000?
I think that.
Do you see anything wrong with the 420,000?
I think that it's a question which is open-ended, blanket, because you cannot just ask, do I see anything wrong? What I can tell you is that the party must meet the aspirants and give them the breakdown of the cost element.
Will you call for a reduction?
I'm saying that
will you support a reduction?
That will only happen if the cost element.
I've asked you 2 questions.
I
You have
won't
not answered
answer.
the
I
one.
can't answer those questions because I don't know what went into the amount. So I'm saying that disclose
Okay.
to the those who are going to pay the money. Disclose to them what are the elements that have gone into deciding the amount.
Asedun Ketia says social democracy is not equal to poverty. That's, for me, sounds like monetocracy.
I am saying that it's about time that FEC meets the aspirants
Okay.
and then spell out, give them the cost element,
Okay.
and see whether the 400 is too much or it's less. And when it's too much,
Per your experience, final question to you, per your experience at the last Congress as a member of the committee that put it together, do you honestly think that this figure is okay? 420,000?
yes,
4.2 billion, that is?
yes, I think that for now, on its face value, it is okay because of the number of delegates that we have.
Okay.
This was 9,000. This is over 200,000.
Okay.
And
Thank
so
you.
when you look at the delegates, you look at the decentralization. So that's what I'm saying, that look, let's invite the aspirants to meet the FEC
Okay.
and let FEC outline the cost element. And at that point, if it is more, the reduction will come.
Okay. Eric, the argument on the side of all of what is happening, I know you want to take a deep dive, but the argument on the side of all of this is that 4 years ago you charged 500,000.
No.
President Akufo-Addo paid 500,000. That's the argument I've heard.
No, it's not true.
And that you have no moral right to be questioning this figure.
It is not true. I don't know
What-
where you
what
got,
do you say?
I don't know where you got the 500,000 from. In 2014, during the primaries, that's the most recent primaries we've had,
Right.
the nomination forms for the what do you call it, presidential aspirants was 10,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And the filing fee was 70,000 cedis.
Okay.
Or 75,000 cedis also. That came up to 80,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Now, if you compare that to 420,000 Ghana cedis, which in the old cedis is 4.2 billion
Right.
Ghana cedis, that is outrageous. It's a lot of money.
Is it?
I'm surprised at that. I mean, in this day and age, people can find that kind of money to contest presidential primaries.
You claim that your economy is doing well, so
no,
they
oh
should be
yeah,
able to
well,
find it.
but I mean, it's maybe it's a plus to the economy, but we need to find out where these people actually got these monies from. And it's coming from one of the campaign managers of one of the aspirants.
Spio Gabra says
And
if
then
you're able
also-
to pay, bring your tax returns so we
And
can vet it.
also, even one of the aspirants, I think it's Atubiga also, is
Okay.
saying that the Yoko should actually invite
Right.
these individuals to file. I mean, maybe that is just
If they're able to file,
comic
they should
relief.
invite
But
all
it's,
of them.
you see, I haven't seen my. Today I've got a new description. It says he likes controversy.
Okay.
So I'll call him Mr. Controversial. That I have never seen him struggle so much, so ever on any platform. And
Okay.
he's a very articulate lawyer. And he can make his point forcefully. Today, you can realize that he's been struggling. And the truth of the matter is that it goes back to the point that I keep making, that we need to anchor this politics that we do in some values and principles. Because it can come back to bite you.
How?
Today, the NDC is going into an internal presidential primaries, and they have 12 or so aspirants, 11 or 12 or so, or 13 aspirants. Do you remember the kind of things that they said about the NPP prior to the 2007 elections? And the sort of things and aspersions and insults and name calling that came from their end. And you see, of course, we have to move away from that. Otherwise, I'll probably have gone the same route.
No, don't
which
go.
wouldn't
Don't
have
go
been-
in there.
You understand? But I'm just trying to say that, you see, our politics has evolved.
Okay.
And it's gotten to the point where even both sides should make sure that we anchor this in some kind of value and principles. He's today talking about the state funding political
Right.
parties.
Why
and all
aren't
of
why
those
aren't both parties pushing for that?
No, listen, I mean, there are a lot of things that, for me, I think that is still in abeyance when it comes to our constitution and things that we can do better. But our democracy has evolved. I mean, it's still a fledgling democracy.
Do we need
but
political party funding?
I mean, the argument,
at this point?
the argument is out there. The debate is, how do you now categorize the various political parties, for instance? I mean, because not all political parties are the same. If I decide,
I remember before the 2016 election, both the NDC and the MPP couldn't present their audited accounts as required by law to the EC. It was only the PPP who was able to do that.
That's a function.
So technically, both of you should have been disqualified.
That's a function of the role of the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
Right. So I mean,
they made the demand.
They have to
failed to provide.
They have to make the demand. I don't know that the MPP did not present.
The MPP didn't.
Yeah, but I do not know that. You are making.
It was later.
But you
missed the deadline.
I want to say it was later. The MPP has presented audited reports.
But the rule says, Eric,
I mean,
hold on.
Johnny, don't let us move away from the topic.
I'm asking a question.
Yes,
my question
you introduced the topic and I'm dealing with it,
Eric,
and then you're moving to the MPP.
I'm not moving on to slow down.
Okay.
I'm asking, but talking about political party funding, and you are asking me, how do we categorize political parties to be able to support them? Beautiful. Yes. And I'm saying that if you're able to present your fully audited account, it will give the EC a sense to know what your weight is and how much they need to support you with, correct?
Yes.
And I'm saying, as of June, when they requested for that audited account, both the NDC and the MPP, who were the biggest at the time, couldn't beat the deadline. How do you then expect the EC, if they had any help at all, to help you?
Well, I would have to double check that. But you see, again, I mean, it's a fair comment to make if, for instance, political parties are meant to meet a certain criteria or they're meant to present certain reports and it doesn't happen. Right. The sanctions that is available from the EC should be applied. I'm not going to sit here and say that we should cut corners in terms of our democracy. If you want to do this, let's do it right.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that the NDC is reeling from the sort of governance that they actually bequeathed to us. Okay. A lot of the individuals who are in there contesting this primaries were unhappy with the way the governance actually went.
You know that for a fact?
Of course, but if you listen to Bagbane and Spew and all the other aspirants, they were unhappy. But again, it's almost like an internal contest. We wish them well. We wish that they will go ahead and choose.
Do you think they can pay the money, 420,000?
But it is outrageous. I mean, I think that we've all concluded, and even you are actually scandalized by that. It's outrageous for anybody to be asked to pay that amount of money. But if they can find it and still go ahead and contest, fair enough. But the truth of the matter is that for us as the MPP, or if you like, by extension, government, we are focused on prosecuting the agenda that the good people of this country has given us.
Okay.
And for me, we will not be really unduly interested in what transpires in the NDC, regardless of who it is that they choose as flag bearer.
Right. The MPP is looking for a twin in the NDC. They can't get it.
They are?
We haven't gotten 11 or 12 aspirants yet. No. Okay. These are people who have declared their intentions. They should know the difference between people declaring intentions and being aspirant. So the twin he's looking for in the NDC. He can't get it.
Thank you.
And the NDC is
on the 4th of December, we'll know the number of aspirants. Abraham Amaliba, I thank you very much for your time. He spoke us on behalf of the well, it's closing time. Eric Chum, thank you very much for coming. Eric Chum, grateful. And Amaliba, I wish you well. Maybe you have 420,000 to give.